Alright, and welcome to the second bonus episode of Pokémon Blue. It's not Pokémon Blue, it is Pokémon Stadium, but I'm counting it as a bonus episode because of what I'm doing specifically. I am no longer level 56. I may have done some things that got them to level 100. And maxed their stats, but ignore that, it's not part of the playthrough, it's a bonus episode. I just want to see how well this team at maximum power does in the, Master Ball, the Master Ball Cup for the, Prime Cup tournament. I never know how to say that, because it doesn't sound right to call both of them cups, but what else can I do? Like, it's the Prime Cup Master Ball, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, his team is pretty awful, so looks like we get to use Boner. Now, Rock Slide is pink because it's an illegal move, technically speaking. Because it wouldn't become a legal move on Marowak until Gen 2, where it became an egg move. So, technically the game's not lying, it is an illegal move, except technically it's wrong, because I legally acquired that move. Oh, he couldn't even knock out Eradicate. Like, maybe with an Earthquake? I don't know. I'm pretty harsh on Marowak for being bad. Really, it is this generation where he's bad. Like, after this point, he at least becomes a little usable, because in Gen 2 they'd introduce held items, and Marowak has a unique held item called the Thick Club, which doubles his attack, as if he'd used a Swords Dance. Sand attack. That doesn't exist in Gen 1, so he's awful in Gen 1, and you need to use that item on him for him to become any good at all, so it's not like he's great, because every Marowak has a Thick Club if you're going to use it, so, but we'll discuss items more later, like when we get there. Right now I'm going to talk about that Flareon being a bastard for using that sand attack, because now I have to withdraw, because I'll miss, because Bone Brang wasn't 100% accurate to begin with. Who knows, maybe I missed with it anyway, but not going to risk the first round continue because it was free, because his team was awful. He didn't have a single good thing on this team. Like, the Flareon's alright at best, but everything else is just awful. From what I remember of it anyway. I don't remember all 6 of them. I just remember looking at that when I was reviewing footage, going, I have to mention how awful that team is. Then I got talking about something and forgot to do it while they were all on screen. Go figure. Game. Really? Get used to that. That happens quite a bit in Stadium. Ah, well. Bubba refuses to let confusion stop him from finishing the task, so... Round 1, not so bad in the Master Ball. There are a few interesting matches, for sure. Like, maybe not all of them, but, there are some interesting matches here. Like, the next one's against a Rocket Grunt, whose nicknaming scheme is always to put act with a number behind the first few syllables of the first few letters of, the Pokemon name. Because if you think my nicknames are stupid, which I do, but Pokemon Stadium, because it wanted to nickname everything in the game, it comes up with some pretty stupid nicknames. Like, not even fun stupid. Although the Team Rocket Grunts, their nicknames are at least kind of fun stupid, but hey, it's a Persian versus a Persian. You can see the difference in the stats. Not sure how Stadium does their Pokemon. Like, I don't know what stat spreads are. I don't know what IVs are in Gen 1 and 2 anyway. Stat experience is sitting at. ZVs don't exist yet. It's stat experience because you can max out the number for all the stats. EVs would come later and they changed how things worked. But I don't know how stat experience works. Or how Stadium figures out its stat experience in IVs. Clearly it doesn't max them. But then I'm not even really sure what Critties... Well, it's lower than Critties, so it can't be maxed. Critties might be maxed? I don't know. I don't know what a maxed Persian looks like. And it took the Bubble Beam, but I sure dented it. If only Bubble Beam wasn't so weak. Honestly, though, if only Curdy could learn Ice Beam. Now that would be awesome. My cat bolt beams instead of shoot bubbles. Now get used to this sight, by the way. Dragonite's saving my team. Because Blue Durgan wasn't that great, but Blue Durgan, he's awesome. I mean, I probably would have been better off using Thunderbolt instead of Thunder, but you know, I wanted the more gimmicky of the moves. I like him having Thunder and Blizzard.
The remaining Pokemon clock is 2-1.
Oh, but Golbat, you stand no chance. Ice and Thunder is such a great combination because they cover each other well. If something is resistant to one of those two moves, it's not to the other. So, that's why you go with Thunder and Ice, kids. Bolt Beaming is awesome. That's Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, but, you know, Blizzard works as well. Alright. Well, that's 2 wins, but only 1 continue. And this fight gets a little weird. Like, you'll see what I mean. He has a Jolteon, though. That could be bad. His team is actually not that great. Like, this is one of the least interesting. And it's sad because it has some interesting things, like Machamp, Jolteon. Those two are about it. But Hitmonlee, to an extent, is kind of cool. But since I don't know what his team does, I'm gonna play it a little weird. You know, and since I don't know what he's doing, I'm just gonna Razor Leaf him twice because I know I can 2-shot him. And then I'll start Swords Dancing, but in the meantime, Nidoking here is gonna give away his gimmick. Because it's neutral damage, there was no way I was gonna be able to 1-shot it. But his team likes to use Focus Energy, and that's not a good gimmick to have. Like, that might be a little better than the defense-lowering Confusion from earlier, but instead of actually doing damage, all you did was raise your critical hit chance. Good job. But now I know I can get a Swords Dance off for sure, because he's gonna Focus Energy, you know? And it's a good thing too, because I need the Swords Dance. Because I can't 2-shot him without it. Spoilers, I win this fight because he's using a terrible gimmick. But this Machamp actually does something I didn't expect. Just watch this. And a Body Slam. His body slam's great.
Face each other.
And and his response makes the focus energy even stranger. Why does he even know this? Like, look at how little damage that did. It's useless on him. Why does he have that move at all? What purpose does it have? Honestly, you'd have been better off doing anything else, because Weed doesn't have that great a defense. Oh well. But he's using focus energy and, you know, doesn't even have a lot of high crit moves. I don't even know if Machamp learns any high crit. Well, you can learn Karate Chop. I think that's high critical hit. That all he's got left is a Primeape, so this is going south really quick. I don't know why he didn't use his Jolteon. It's the best thing on his team. I should have one-shot him, but I couldn't. So, I do call a little bit of bullshit on some of Stadium's calls as far as damage goes, but who knows, maybe it's accurate. I just don't recall Primeape having that great a defense, and I guess Body Slam's not the greatest damaging move, but it's like, it's pretty powerful. I don't know. Stadium, I love it, but sometimes it seems to, it seems to do some weird damage calculations, that's all I'll say. Like, things surviving things that I think they should have not survived are, common stance. That was a terrible sentence. Pokemon survive moves that I don't think they should on a frequent basis. That's a much better sentence. I'm not the best at talking. It's not always my strong suit. Why am I taking so long? Pick a team. Now, I wasn't paying attention, but this is a gambler. I know what that means, but I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't prepare for it like I should have. Gamblers in Pokemon Stadium don't focus on type. They focus on one set of moves in particular. And right now, you're not going to know what it is. But you'll find out here in a second. Because, he's about to use his Dragonite, and I can't just take that on with a Victory Bell or Weed. You know, I'm not going to call bullshit on the damage done to this Dragonite, because I knew that I couldn't take this Dragonite on in a fight. But I did not know what he was doing yet, so I decided to try to paralyze him instead of risking a switch.
What now?
And he's Thunder Waving, which isn't surprising. I mean, I hate this game because everything knows Thunder Wave, it sometimes seems, but yeah, they use one-hit KO moves. In Gen 1, they're awful because you have to be faster than the Pokemon you're targeting for it to have a chance in the first place, and even when you do get a chance, it's a 20% accuracy. However, he's faster than me now, and will actually hit with it. One-hit KO. Doesn't deal damage, it just removes the threat. But get used to Yellow-Durgan, or Yellow-Durgan, sorry. I mispronounced his name. Coming in to save my team some more, because I think I can outspeed him. And if I can, he's dead. Like I said, I'm not sure how Stadium does its stat experience, because it's clearly not maxed out. Otherwise, I wouldn't be higher than it. Because I couldn't be. It'd be maxed. And that means I don't know how it does its IVs. You know, I would have expected, I don't know, maybe because you can transfer your Pokemon from in the game and not every player would be patient enough to raise their stats legally and totally not instead use a cheating program to max them out right away. Because that would not every player would do such things. You know, maybe they kept it lower. I don't know. Seriously, though, real talk, no. I don't know how long it would take to max out every stat and get to level 100. But I wasn't even patient enough to grind from level 50 to 55. And given that you, like, gain stat experience, like, at most 3 at a time, but more than likely 2 or 1, and the experience maxes out at 65,000, like a little more than 65,000 per stat, so that's 5 different stats. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and do that. Maybe because these clearly don't have maxed out EVs. I shouldn't have, but I don't know. I wouldn't know where else to go. Besides, they've been knocking some things out. Besides, it's the later fights that are hard. Unfortunately for this Executor, I have Pin Missile. Yeah, this is going to be an annoying thing that happens. So, he's Toxicking. You know, Toxic is poison that increases and damages the poison goes along. But I have Pin Missile, so this fight isn't going to be a problem. The Toxic's not really threatening. You know, I just have to tag him once. That'll be it. Now, Leech Seed is annoying because I don't know if it's bugged or if there's a programming error, but it matches poison for damage. So really what I ought to be doing is switching right about now. And Pin Missile missed a second time, so I really ought to have switched, but we're gonna call this match Precedeth, because all I have to do is hit him more than twice with Pin Missile and I knock him out. That's why I didn't switch. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, and guess who gets lost, and that damage I just dealt didn't matter because of that stupid bug. Or programming error, or whatever it is. You know, I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but it's bullshit. Yeah, it's annoying. I was annoyed, but mostly at myself because I should have known better. I should have just switched to Yaludurgan earlier. I just, you know, I didn't want to. You know, I don't want to use Yaludurgan every single fight. I didn't want to turn to him every time things went rough, but, well, the theme is Yaludurgan saves my team. Anyway, he switches back to his Polyrance. This fight's basically over, unless Thunder decides to be itself and miss like 5 times in a row, but I've been pretty good with these Thunders in this playthrough. Like, players don't typically like Thunder because it has a really bad accuracy, and it's just notorious for seeming like it has a worse accuracy than it actually does because of how often it misses. And in fact, I was a little punk and woke up. Now, if the last one was Pride Precedeth the fall, this is Pride Precedeth the win, because I probably shouldn't have risked this blizzard, but I didn't want... I never remember if Hyper Beam will take your next turn if it misses. I never remember that because I don't use the move, and I rarely miss with it because it's got a decent accuracy. Not 100, but a decent accuracy. But it wasn't enough to, his amnesia wasn't enough to actually save him from the blizzard, despite it being not very effective. Yeah, but I'm not toxic, so I don't care about that Leech Seed very much. Not that it matters, you literally can't survive the next round unless I miss. You can't win this. Like, you can't absorb enough health with Leaf Seed at all. Yep, that was a fight. I should have switched Jolteon when I had the chance. I told you a few of these fights were interesting. Well, this next one is interesting for all the wrong reasons. Although it'll allow me to show and illustrate something. We have a bird trainer, a bird catcher, whatever they're called. Bird boy in this game. And he has 3 legendary birds. Like all 3 of them. But unfortunately his entire team is nothing but flying types, so I don't know what you're waiting. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what you're waiting for. There's 3 options here. Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt, Thunder. Blizzard, actually, but... yeah, boy, you can't take this on. However, now I know he's not using all 3 legendaries. And he's gonna switch, and guess who he's switching to? Yeah, that's right, Zapdos. It's Jolteon versus Zapdos. Thundercat versus Zapdash. Rivals. For the same spot on every Gen 1 team. They both do the same thing, it's just Zapdos adds Flying type and Drill Peck to the lineup. So...
What now?
yeah, we both do the exact same thing, except if you think Thundercat's staying out, you're insane. I'd rather save him for later, even though he's paralyzed. But that means more Yaludurgan. If I can complain about one thing about this team that I used, it's that Jolteon and Yaludurgan are so good that they're on every team in this video. They're just too good. And everything else on my team is decent at best. Like, if Jolteon and Dragonite are really good, Victory Bell is good, Persian is alright, and Blastoise and Marowak are unfortunately not that great. I actually found that out about the starters in Gen 1 as far as their usefulness tournaments go. Blastoise is apparently not that great either. Like, Charizard is awful, Blastoise is meh. Venusaur is apparently the one that has the most viability. And that was surprising to me because it's poison typing. But, maybe not, because Victory Bell also has that poison typing, so who knows. Hang on, I've been fighting a cough ever since I started talking about starters. I won't know until later how horrid it sounds when I'm holding back a cough.
We're down to the last Pokémon. The remaining Pokémon count is
Well,
3-1. The battle
unless Thunder starts doing awful, which it should. I am actually ridiculously accurate with these Thunders. Like, I should have at least missed with 4 of the Thunders I've used in this entire playthrough. Well, maybe not. Maybe I haven't used as much as I think I have. I don't know. It's gone on for long enough. I'm kind of glad Pokémon Blue is ending, because it's been 5 months. I like this game and all, but 5 months! Again, it's my fault in real life for getting busy and having a full-time job on top of it all. You know, I had a hospital visit, I had a bunch of paperwork to do, I volunteer at some places. It's my own fault, really. But it's finally over, and we move into an interesting match, because it allows me to talk about something that I need to talk about. And the battle theme is my favorite battle theme in all of Generation 1. Because I just dig this tune. I ain't taking none of your shit, Alakazam. Even if that means missing a turn, because Pokemon Stadium fixed Hyper Beam. I don't know if I've discussed this or not, but in the regular games, if you knock something out with Hyper Beam, you don't lose your turn. But in Stadium, they fixed that because that was absolute bullshit. Like, if you want to know something that defines the Gen 1 meta as far as competitive goes, it's that. Because Hyper Beam was used a lot because there's a lot of high attack things that if you just could one-shot them with Hyper Beam, you know, you wouldn't lose your next turn. It was awful. But Stadium fixed that. Gen 1 competitive meta has to be different for Stadium and the regular games. I'm not sure which of the two is more popular, to be honest. But man, now that I'm paralyzed, this Raichu's kicking my ass. If I just want to get this Hyper Beam off, but I haven't been able to. But I'm a normal type, this is a Hyper Beam. I just discussed how awesome that is. Surely this low defense Raichu... yeah, of course. Raichu only won this fight because of that. I guess and the paralysis, but, you know, that had more to do with it than anything else. That being able to take a same type attack bonus Hyper Beam off of a not bad attacker with your low defense. Oh well, Thundercat will teach you. This Raichu's nowhere near as good as Jolteon.
Neither Pokemon is backing down.
Which is unfortunate because Raichu, you know, he's cool looking. And he's the evolved version of Pikachu, who's the mascot. But, you know, this was before the TV show, so they had no idea that was going to pan out the way it did. So Raichu doesn't have the stats to reflect that. Even though the intended one was Clefairy, and it doesn't either. But let's discuss something real quick. Because this Rapidash, and I should have paralyzed it, but I, you know, wasn't thinking about what Rapidashes in Stadium do. Because he's got agility. Now he's faster than me. And, he's going to start fire spinning. Now, he would have had to agility twice to become faster than me if I would have paralyzed him. And he might have made this next proceedings easier. But the thing about Gen 1 and Rap and moves like that are you can switch. And if you switch, that ends the opponent's turn. Because it was busy fire spinning, he didn't get to actually select a move. So if you find yourself in this situation where they're using Rap or using Fire Spin, switch him. It has an 85 accuracy. It'll miss one of those times. And even if you can't knock it out with whatever attack you get off, you're still probably dealing more damage than them. I don't know if this was a Stadium thing or a Gen 1 thing as a whole, but I get the feeling it's a Stadium thing. Like a Stadium thing that was in response to Rap being as bullshit as it was in the regular games, but then again, I don't know if that's true or not. But the move is awful in Stadium. That's why I think that it's a Stadium change that was made before they changed how it worked in Gen 2. Because the move is just awful in Stadium. I only know about that, though, because I was using a clamping, toxicking Cloyster, and the AI was doing it to me. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought this was an insanely awesome combo, but, you know. Though, to be fair, Poison and Rap is still a good combo, because you're at least doing that much more damage. Though the toxic damage, you know, resets to normal poison damage once you switch out, so... Anyway, this guy has a really good team. He has a Mew for starters, and his worst thing is an Arcanine, whose only real weak spot, because he's got decent stats, is a very predictable move pool, but that only counts for competitive, so, you know, I have no idea. This is a really good team versus my team, who has some good things in it. But he started with Cloyster, unfortunately for him. You can bet he's using that Mew. I imagine he's programmed to always use that Mew. I'm surprised he didn't have a Dragonite, to be honest, but, you know, everything on the team is good, so he didn't need a Dragonite.
This is a wild one from the word go.
But, because I'm Tart Poison, here comes that Mew.
Oh, it's you.
And since Mew's gimmick is he can learn every TM and HM in the game, I wonder what he knows. Well, I'm faster, so I get the Swords Dance off. But of course, it knows Thunder Wave. I hate this game. I seriously hate this game, even though it's my favorite Gen 1 game and I really like it. I just hate Paralysis and I hate Thunder Wave, and he lowered my special. It doesn't matter because I'm using physical moves anyway. Booyah! Eat this! Suck it, Mew. Damn it! Stadium! I call bullshit! Hopefully that didn't break any eardrums. Me yelling there. I'll fix it in editing. Seriously, that's what I mean. That Mew should be dead. Oh well, it's dead now. I dealt such a significant chunk of damage to it that I think Double Kick is about the only thing it can survive. I'm not risking Pin Missling when Thunderbolt's 100% accurate, and I mean, it's just there was no choice. And this could be terrifying. Depending on if it earthquakes or not, I'm going to use Thunder Wave, because if it does no earthquake, then, well, it'll be nice to have it paralyzed for... You loser again. I think that's who I used last. Well, if that doesn't spoil how this fight goes, yeah, he can't beat Thundercat. He just doesn't have it. I didn't need to paralyze him at all. It was wise, though. You never know what they know. If you would have known Earthquake, you know, it would have been all over. Instead, use Double Edge. Which is not a bad move, it's just not Hyper Beam. But with that, we've won the Prime Cup Master Ball Edition. That's what I'll call it. The last time I refer to it, and out of the 3 Stadium videos, and I finally find something that doesn't sound stupid to say. Yep, the team was good enough to deal the Prime Cup Master Ball version in the daytime, because that was the daytime stage, not the nighttime stage. I just didn't want to get through and, you know, get to the night. I just wanted to get all this recorded and done with. But we have one final Hall of Fame, so this is awesome. Say goodbye to the team, because this playthrough is over. What's up next? I'm not sure. I started recording something, and it was in DOSBox. It was supposed to be something older than this, and DOSBox is hard to record, apparently. So, I don't know. We'll see how things go, though. I'll get you something for sure. I might take a week to do it, so don't expect any videos for the next week. But that's Pokemon Blue. Once again, I recommend it. I recommend it with Stadium. I recommend using your team in Stadium. Have a good day. I'll see you next time with whatever I'm playing next. Bye.